All right, so for those of you that are new and joining into this community, again, my name is Candace Spears. I am the host in this community, founder of the Finding Freedom Business Accelerator. I'm a serial entrepreneur, I'm a real estate investor, a mom, and other things. And so I'm super excited that you all are here. So today's topic is all around health insurance being expensive and how am I going to survive and how is this going to work. Now, the entire month of March, the theme is all about just myths around full-time entrepreneurship. The stories that we are telling ourselves, the ones that aren't serving us really well. It's all about that. So this first one has to do with health insurance and health insurance being expensive. So if you have told yourself that health insurance when I am on my own is going to be a beast, it's going to be a nightmare. And I'll tell you, and if you didn't, right, and if you haven't had that thought process, then no, it's fine. But I'll tell you, that is a thought process that is very real. When I think about my own transition, and one of the things that scared me the most, now my mind was already made up, okay? My mind was already made up, already doing the work, but one of the things I would lose sleep about, especially because all of the benefits came through me, my job, all of them, health insurance, all that stuff flowed in through me. So one of the things that I would lose sleep over is the cost of health insurance. And mostly not because I had done the research myself, just because I had heard it so much. So if you've heard that just health insurance is so expensive, like you better just keep the job just for the insurance benefits. I know I heard it. And so my mind was already wired for, ooh, this is going to be rough. And we're a family of 5. Oh my goodness. It's probably going to be at least $1,000 a month for health insurance. That's what was happening in my mind, but this is what it's going to be. This is the thing that's keeping me up at night. Ooh, okay. Everything else feels like, okay, we get that under control. But wow, adding an extra $1,000 a month. We had a program at work where as long as you maintained it was like a healthy rewards type thing. You met all the requirements, got all the points and everything. It would be free for you and for your dependents. So I completely understand that. Whew, now I'm adding a whole other thing. It's not like I was even having it taken out of a check. Now there's a whole other thing that's coming. And because my desire for freedom and my desire to be independent and on my own and have control, because all of that was stronger than any of the myths I heard, I did what I do best. And what that is, I went into research mode. And I went into, okay, just what's the truth? And if it is $1,000 a month, okay, it is what it is. But I just need to get my arms around what is possible. I need to get in control. And the thing we don't often realize, especially when you're making that shift from employee to entrepreneur, right? As an employee, so many things are done for you. What plan do you want, right? Here are 2 options, maybe 3 options, if that, or maybe it's just family size or whatever. And they're just handed to you. Right? As an entrepreneur, it's more, okay, really, here's my opportunity to be in control of, my healthcare situation, my costs and what I want to do and all this other stuff, but it's up to you. And so I quickly got myself into that, all right, I'm going to shift out of employee and into entrepreneur here and just try to figure out what's going to serve me, what's going to serve my family, what's going to help us get where we need to go. Now, what I'm going to tell you about on this live today, because I'm going to give you guys some very specific homework that I want you to go and do to help you through this. And I'll tell you about something that I found. So here's the thing. So I went and I started doing my research and all this other stuff's got to be a better way. Again, $1,000 is in my head and like it's going to be $1,000 a month. And so what I began to find out is there was something that I heard of, and actually was through listening to a podcast. I was listening to a podcast of another entrepreneur, and she mentioned it. And I'm like, what is this? Let me get my pen and paper. And what it was, a health share. And this literally, I will tell you, when I learned about this and I went again looking. There are different options for different ones, and I began digging and doing the research. I literally began to sleep better at night. I did. I slept better at night because I knew what was going to happen. I knew what the choice was going to be. I knew what the amount was going to be. I knew I could get covered and figured it out. Okay, so let me tell you what this is. So a health share, and there are a number of companies, so you can go out and you can Google health share. It has I can't tell you its entire backstory, but I can tell you this. It's got some strong roots in Christian beliefs. So there's like a United Health Sharing Ministry, which is the one that we are a part of. There is Christian Health Share Ministries. There's Liberty Health Share. And what they are is it's a different type of way to cover healthcare expenses. So it is not a traditional insurance, but it works in a similar fashion. And by the way, this isn't just like you and some friends down the street and get together to cover medical costs. That's not what this is. But it has that type of feel to it. There are millions of people. As you hear, Colleen's got friends that have it. So there are millions of people who use it. But what it really is, it's a shift in a mindset. So as opposed to having this insurance that just you pay into it, and it just pays out whenever this thing happens, a similar thing happens on a health share front, except it's a collective body of people. So you have a similar thing where you've got like a premium every month and you have a certain deductible that you meet, but then at a certain point, the collective begins to pay those medical bills, right? You still may have a copay, things like that. But the pricing on it is drastically different, generally. Drastically different, at least for us it was, right? More than 50%, drastically different than what it would be if you went a traditional insurance route. You went and got something on the health insurance marketplace or something like that. So it's an alternative to traditional health insurance. So for those of you earlier, and first off, let me say this before I issue this challenge to you, because I really do want you to do this. Is there anybody who has actually looked and priced out independent health insurance? Ooh, let me mention this because Colleen just dropped this in the chat. For those of you that do not know, Colleen is one of the success coaches inside of the Finding Freedom Business Accelerator. Another view, one client a month covers our traditional health insurance. Nice. Love it. Love it. So again, there again is that shift in mindset. So a quick thing before I jump back to my thought. Hopefully I don't forget what it was. As you're thinking about making your transition, of course you're probably thinking about, and you have to, and we tell the ladies in the accelerator this all the time, right? Know your survive numbers, but then know your thrive numbers too. So you do want to know those numbers that it takes to survive, but you also want to start thinking a little bit differently, right? Get yourself in more of a place of abundance as opposed to, oh, but what if I don't make this money? But what if I don't make this money? Instead, okay, as Colleen mentioned, right? One client a month will take care of that. 2 clients a month will take care of this and this. Hey, 3 clients a month, it's this. It's a different way to start thinking, right? You are in control. And you have the ownership. And so you can either look at that as a scary thing and something to run away from and feel like you have to get prepared for forever, or you can look at it as something that you get to embrace. And so for those of you that have been a little fearful on the health insurance front, or that's been something that you've been worried about or concerned about, have you looked at what your cost is going to be independently? Have you researched? For Colleen, yes, about $300 to $600 a month for a health share. Yep, ours is $535, $585, somewhere in there. I think it's $535, $585, something like that. Yep, that's about right. Which is very different from the $1,000 number that I thought I would have in my head. All right, so this is what you get to do. This is my last thing before I jump off here. If you are anything like me, and this is a big thing that's weighing on you, or other people are saying things to you, don't leave that job because you've got the benefits, or you're saying that to yourself, don't leave the job before I've got the benefits, but you don't really know the picture for yourself, then what I'd like for you to do is, as your homework, I want you to go and figure out what's your cost going to be when you are an entrepreneur full-time. That's your homework. Go and figure it out. And remember, if that's something that you want to look into, Google it. They're all over the place. Google a health share. Whatever it is important, you're shifting out of employee to entrepreneur, so you've got to grab ownership of these things. But you have to have real numbers, and you can't just let myths float around in your head and stories go back and forth. Okay? All right. So that's all that I have for you all today. So make sure you take some action. Go and do it. Go and do it. And I want to hear if anybody has any breakthrough stories. Oh my goodness, I'm going to be able to do this cheaper than I thought, or I'll be okay, or this or that. I would love to hear those stories. And I'm sure others would too. We encourage others in this community, each other in this community. All right, ladies. So that's it. I hope you have a great evening, and see you soon.